Hello! Welcome to White Throat Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So today, I'm doing something a little bit different because it has been echoing in my brain all day today while I was at work that today is not a day to do just the regular zodiac sign reads for the last week of November. I am going to be doing this for November transitioning into December, potentially even up until April, because I think around April 2026 is when all of the outer planets are going to be locked into their new signs, and we are looking at drastic change on a global scale. But right now we are in retrograde season, and so it looks like we are going through our own personal transformations that are going to lead us into that new year. And this isn't in kind of like a new year, new me kind of way. This isn't like, oh yeah, it's New Year, January 1st. No, the new year is in April. And I feel like as individuals, we each are going through our own personal themes where we're basically going through a collective death and rebirth. And so I wanted to hone in a little more on that energy and see if there's any guidance that comes through that might help us through this. So, all right, we're still going to go with the zodiac format, but the focus of the question is going to be a little different. Starting with Aries. Eight of Cups in the challenge position, Father of Swords in the upright, Death in the challenge position. Five of Cups. Mother of Wands, and I'm going to place the Ten of Pentacles exactly as it came out, where it's kind of challenge-ish, kind of reversed. Ten of Swords. I'm trying to ask what the expected outcome is, but I'm also getting that that's not for us to say, because these transformations that we go through on an individual level, there is no such thing as a cookie cutter ideal, right? We get to decide who we want to be. Okay? Well, the Eight of Cups, Death, Mother of Wands being in the challenge position, and then the Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords being here, along with the Ten of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups in the reversed-ish, challenge-ish position. But the Father of Swords and the Father of Wands being in the upright. This is telling me Aries tends to be a very pragmatic sign. They tend to be very, okay, whatever, next. And something's telling me that there are a lot of Aries out there that are dealing with currently an ending, because Eight of Cups is about loss, abandonment, sometimes regret. Five of Cups is also about loss. It's about going back to a dried up watering hole, something that's been dead, done, over with for a while. And then we got the Ten of Swords, and that is also very, very much about endings. And so the Mother of Wands in the challenge position, along with Death, is telling me that you're having a surprisingly hard time letting it go. Your usual, okay, whatever, next isn't working. This was probably something very important to you. Ace of Cups in the reverse is telling me that it could have also been something that was just budding. I almost spat out like a practical example of something that could be, but I gotta know, as in, no, this isn't about the external, this is about what's going on the internal. This is about how you've processed endings. This is about how you've processed disappointments. How you've processed it was a very mental, fiery kind of energy. It's like, yeah, like I said, it's kind of like a whatever next, kind of powering through things, just bulldozing through life. And I hate saying this, but what keeps playing in my head is that I'm seeing a lot of different patterns here. I'm seeing someone that has gone through heavy things and then just painted on optimism. I'm seeing someone that has been doing the harm and kind of made excuses to themselves as to why it had to be that way. Like someone that never let themselves sit in the loss long enough to even register it as a loss. I'm also seeing the type of person that kind of distracts themselves with other things. Like when they've had disappointments in their lives, they would go and distract themselves by taking on a new hobby or just going out a lot or something like that. Like I'm seeing different people, and some are avoidant, basically, kind of the, oh, I wasn't the problem, they were the problem, I'm just going to go try something else then. And then the pattern repeats itself and they just keep doing that without stopping to think, wait, I'm the common denominator. And also a type of person that doesn't let themselves feel, doesn't let themselves sit or grieve or mourn and or share, and just kind of says, yeah, I'm good, everything's fine, when it's not. And there's something deeper going on in there, but they just kind of put the lid on it. Like, nope. Also, spiritual bypassing, or like emotional bypassing, almost kind of like a um someone that shames or guilts themselves out of those feelings. Like, oh, don't be negative, or don't be, I shouldn't be thinking like that, or, someone that kind of denies their feelings. But the common denominator here basically is self deprivation of feeling, self deprivation of going deeper and sitting in that. And that seems to be what is catching up to the Aries collective that I'm pulling for right now. So it's a lot of different patterns, it's a lot of different ways to do the same thing, basically. And so you're finding a new way to process, but it probably doesn't feel that way to you, and that's why it's coming up. Like right now, it just feels like a lot of misery, probably. A lot of, why isn't my normal thing working? Why is distracting myself not working right now? Why is this new person not giving me the joy that I thought they would? Or why is this new hobby not making me happy? I know how to cheer myself up, I'm doing it, but it's not working. Like that's the kind of energy that I'm getting. And so this refusal to let go, or this like protective energy, this guarded energy, it might not necessarily be around the thing that you lost or the thing that you're grieving or mourning right now. It's more about the pattern that you always use, your default go-to method of making yourself feel better. Another thing that I'm getting, I read for a lot of people, and something that I see a lot is people who try to make themselves feel better without actually fixing the problem. There are a lot of people out there that just want a tarot reader to tell them that their person is going to come back, that their person is going to apologize, that they regret, how things ended. And they'd rather pay me and hope I tell them that than actually go to the person and talk to them. Or there are a lot of people that really just want reassurance. But if you ask them, okay, so what are you doing about it? If you don't like your job, are you looking? Are you applying elsewhere? And they're like, no. And I don't really get that personally, because you would think that trying to fix the problem is step one. But at the same time, I'm maladaptive myself. I'm kind of a more do first, think later person, or a do first, feel later person. But I've been in survival mode all my life, and that's just kind of how I go. It's like, oh, if I don't like the situation that I'm in, I'm going to do everything within my power to get myself out of that situation and into a better one. And then once none of those work, or if one of those works and I'm in a better situation, or I'm still in the situation but now stuck to no fault of my own, that's when I start to feel things, or that's when I start to want the reassurance or whatever. But it's not until I've exhausted every option. But there are a lot of people out there that don't do that, and they just want to feel better. And that's kind of what I'm getting here, is that pattern of just wanting to feel better while you're still in the situation that you're in, or before you've even processed, grown, reflected on what just happened. But I think that what makes life so decadent is that tragedy, that despair, that's the muse. Taking those experiences that hurt, taking those experiences where you felt humiliated or degraded or broken, devastated, taking all of that and creating something beautiful from it is the art of life. And refusing to feel in those moments because it's uncomfortable or because it hurts is, to me at least, like taking perfectly good paint and just throwing it away. That's your material that's going to waste. Aries does tend to be a very fast-paced, fast-moving sign, but I feel like these retrogrades, and like everything is in retrograde right now, these retrogrades, especially Jupiter and Uranus, I feel like, are asking you to slow down and tune into your spirit. And depending on how much work you've done thus far, this may be kind of like just a small epiphany, or this could be life-changing. You might even come out of this completely unrecognizable even to yourself. Your fire doesn't need to die, is another thing that I'm hearing. You just need to learn how to refine it. Your passion, your heat is a virtue. And fire can be used for many things. It can be used to burn down the rainforest. It can also be used to cook a meal. What kind of fire are you? And what kind of fire would you rather be? Now, are your choices and your actions aligned with the kind of person you want to be? Moving on to Taurus. Daughter of Swords, Son of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. Eight of Cups in the reverse. Nine of Swords. Three of Cups in the reverse. Six of Wands in the reverse. Four of Swords. Nothing in the challenge position, so that's good. I'm not feeling very much blockage energy. It's just more like with a lot of reversals being here and the Nine of Swords being in the upright, it's kind of a heavier energy to deal with, but not something that feels stuck, if that makes sense. So, Daughter of Swords. And then on the other side of the sandwich is the Four of Swords. Son of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm getting different themes here. Those two in the reverse is telling me about scarcity mindset, or another question that I got was, how do you measure your value? How do you measure your success? In I guess in corporate terms, what are your KPIs? So these two cards right here are asking, when you don't have much, and I feel like, especially in this economy, there were probably a lot of Taurus people that lost their jobs or something amidst all of this chaos, or, you know, maybe you were one of the people that got laid off in the government shutdown or whatever. And Taurus does not like not knowing where their next paycheck is coming from. Taurus likes stability. Taurus doesn't just like stability, Taurus needs it. Like, that is the backbone of our lives. We work hard so that we can play hard. And getting put in a position where you don't even know when or how you're going to get paid next is like nightmare. Stuff of nightmares for Taurus. But, oh, this terrifies me because I'm a Taurus too, but I got a flash of April 2026 where everything changes. Things are going to be unstable for a while. A while. And I've been predicting this for the last 5 years. I didn't even know about the astrology back then, but now it kind of makes sense. But for the last 5 years, I've been harping and harping and harping about how the way we make our money is going to change. The way we live our lives, like everything, just the structure of society, it's all going to change. And there's going to be huge disruptions before we get to a point where things are better. Things are gonna get better, but there's a disruption period in there somewhere. And so Taurus, our love for stability is going to be very, very much tested. Maybe for a few years before things settle down. Status quo, the norm, it's just not. It's going to get thrown out for a minute there. And so this is asking about how you establish yourself, how you establish your worth. Are you the type of person that takes a lot of pride in your career? And that's not a bad thing at all. It's just when that gets tested, what's your plan B? When you can't rely on your pentacles anymore, what's your plan B? And then with the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Cups in the reverse, I'm also getting abandonment wounds. So Taurus, again, is a sign that really likes stability. And that's not just about money. They like stable friendships too. We don't like a lot of drama. We don't like having a lot of ups and downs. We like having a backbone in our life that we can always return to when things outside of that get chaotic. We need a home. And that's why Taurus tends to be really picky with who they consider a close friend, who they partner up with, where they work. It's because we are in need of something that is going to stand the test of time. We like things that stay, and we like things consistent, because life outside of those things, we know, aren't within our control. But to cope with that, we need something in our life that we can count on. I'm not sure how many Taurians out there pieced that together, but when my life fell to shit for a minute there, that's what I figured out. I say for a minute there like it was nothing, but I literally almost died. And when your health gets taken away, when your job gets taken away, when everything's falling apart and you're trying to make arrangements for after you're gone at 20, how old was I? 29? Things start to feel a little chaotic. And in that, I found my constant, my consistent. And that was my friendships. The connections that I've built over the last little over a decade that I've been living here. And so with the Eight of Cups and the Three of Cups in the reverse, I feel a lot of pain here surrounding ended connections. Maybe people that didn't value the connection as much as you did. This I wouldn't apply to work or anything. This is about connection. This is about humans. This is about that feeling that you get when you realize that you valued someone way more than they valued you. That sting, that burn, that pinch in the chest. If you're physically feeling a pinch in the chest, please call a doctor. But anyway, this feels like you're revisiting the theme of being undervalued and trying to figure out how you value yourself in all that. Because we can't control how people perceive us. We can't control how people see us. And people can only see us through lenses that are full of projection and blockages, and they have their own stuff going on, and that affects their capacity to see you. You're someone who maybe went through a lifetime of betrayals, maybe went through a lifetime of being used and is now suspicious of people, has trust issues. You can't make them trust you. No matter how sincere you approach them, no matter how earnest you try to be, they will look at you suspiciously. But that's a them thing, not a you thing. And so I think people tend to wear those projections. They tend to internalize them. They tend to think that another person's limitations are a reflection of their own self-worth when that's not true. That's where the Daughter of Swords comes in. I was wondering why she was there. It's about having a discerning eye, but not becoming like those people that look at everyone like they're suspicious. It's about being discerning and continuing to be loving, continuing to be generous and giving and nurturing, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. We're lovers. We want to take care of the things that we love. It comes natural to us. I mean, I have a lot of pets and the house full of house plants, and I feed my friends. Like, that's how I am. That's how we are. And you can continue to be that way. But to also be analytical enough to know when people are so limited that they're leaving you starving for something that they can't give you. And the answer there isn't to try harder. It's not to try to push harder. It's not to try to learn Greek just to get them to understand you. It's to pull the plug. And it's hard for Taurians to do because value. We're very value oriented. And once we value something or someone, there is nothing that we wouldn't do for them. But because we are that way, especially because we are that way, it hurts that much more when we realize that something that we valued, someone that we valued, so easily abandoned us. But Taurus, that's not ours to carry. Even though it feels like it is. Even though it hurts nonetheless to feel abandoned by someone that you valued. It's not yours to carry. The best we can do is the best we can do. And the best that we can do is to put our best foot forward, do our best, treat them the best we can, and hope for the best. Hope that they have the capacity to see it, what you're trying to give them. But when things fall apart, you want to at least be able to tell yourself that you did do your best. You did your part. Because that Seven of Swords feels like a lot of self-loathing. It feels like a lot of internalized projections from the world around you. It feels misunderstood. It feels unseen, unheard. But the lesson here is that you cannot make people see you. You can't. All you can do is show up and hope that they do. Show up authentically. Show up with your whole heart. The Six of Wands in the reverse feels like, what I'm seeing is like let's say a deer broke its leg and they keep trying to stand back up and they can't. And it's kind of that energy, like I'm trying to get up, but I can't. But then that transitions into the Four of Swords, and it's about staying still. It's about rest and recovery. I think I did briefly mention that Taurians work hard. Taurians keep going. Taurians can go through really, really tough things and just keep going, keep showing up. We like things consistent, and we are consistent. But it feels like right now you're struggling to be consistent. You're struggling to power through. And the Four of Swords is telling me that it's because right now you're not meant to. You are meant to lay low and nurture yourself. I'm returning back to the Son of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. And other than the message that I got earlier about preparing for the instability that will be coming in 2026, it's giving me another message about generosity. And this feels like it's asking you about overgiving. Like it's almost like Taurus's love language is gifts. I love giving things to people. Even if it's something small like plant cuttings or the duckweed off my tanks or whatever, or just treating people to food. And I feel like it's also asking, if you can't afford to do that anymore, how does that make you feel about yourself? And then we go back to talking about value, how you value yourself. Would it make you feel like any less of a good friend? Would it make you feel less about yourself? And then my mind is now circling to vulnerability. How comfortable would you be telling a friend, for example, well, can't go to dinner, can't go out to eat tonight, I'm kind of broke right now? How comfortable would you be if the friend said, oh, well, let me take you out then? Or, oh, that's okay, let me bring over some steaks and we could just cook it at your house. I don't know how to articulate this well, but it's basically about the genuineness of the connection itself. What was it built on? And if you lost everything today, would that connection still be there? If you don't think it would, should you pull the plug? Man, this is a very, very nuanced reading. So let me try to sum this up as best I can, because I was kind of toggling back and forth in consciousness there. But basically, prepare for the instability that's coming up in the following year. Abandonment wounds. Don't internalize people's limitations. Consider how you value yourself. Be discerning without being cold. And if you're having a hard time getting back up right now, stay down. Take a nap. Yeah, I think that's all of it. Yep. Okay. Moving on to Gemini. I am not taking half the deck. Ten of Pentacles in the challenge position. Strength in the reverse. Daughter of Pentacles in the reverse. Oh. Hierophant, the Lovers, Hanged Man in the challenge position. I think I just heard something about meditation, but we'll get back to that later. Jeez. 8 of Cups in the challenge position. Or no, 7 of Cups in the challenge position. Son of Cups in the challenge position. Okay. Gemini, I feel like this energy of being irritated. Okay, I see. So Gemini is a very social sign. Like every single Gemini that I know, except for like one of them, like a lot, most of the Geminis that I know are very social people, and they're always hanging out with somebody or another, or texting or talking on the phone or something. It's like their phone is glued to their hand. And they also tend to be really popular people that a lot of people reach out to. And I feel like in this retrograde season, and I've been getting readings on Gemini, kind of sitting and reevaluating their life, trying to decide. It's basically they're doing like spring cleaning on their life right now. And they're trying to decide how to allocate their energy and their time and their resources, and where and what needs to just go away. And it's like you're trying to sort through all that, but maybe you're having a hard time finding some alone time. You're having a hard time saying no. Or, maybe you are telling people that you need time alone and they're just not getting it. Or you told a couple people here and there that you need time alone, but there's more people that aren't up to date on how you're doing. And it's like that's kind of the meditating energy that I got. It's like somebody that's trying to meditate but keeps getting spoken to or distracted because noise keeps happening. It's like it's having a hard time getting quiet. And I feel that with the Hierophant and the Hanged Man being here, especially because the Hanged Man is about seeing things from a different perspective. The Hierophant is a spiritual card. It's a card of spirituality and higher knowledge, deeper wisdom. And it feels like you're trying to access something within yourself, but not getting enough quiet to do so. And that's also reflecting on your 10 of Pentacles and your Daughter of Pentacles in the reverse and challenge. It's almost like you are maybe trying to budget for something. You're trying to save up for something. And that's not going too well either because of social stuff. Like let's say, okay, I'm like, okay, I am going to save $20 a week for, I don't know, 4 months because I want to get myself a new gaming console. Let's say it's something as little as that. And every week somebody hits you up and goes, hey, you want to go out for dinner? You want to go out to eat? Oh, there's this show that's happening, I can get the tickets and you just pay me back later. Let's go. And it's like these invites or something external to you is, for some reason, the imagery that I got was how a bird would eat like bread. They just keep pecking at it and nibbling like little bits at a time. So if you're watching a bird eat something big, like, it doesn't look like they're doing much because they're just taking really tiny chunks at a time. But then, give it a minute and the whole piece of bread is gone. Not that I condone feeding birds bread. It's very bad for them, actually. Don't do that. So anyway, but that's what I mean. It's like it's just little chunks here and there, and it doesn't seem harmful. And I wouldn't even really necessarily say harmful. It doesn't seem too impactful. Like, there's a part of you that's like, well, it's just one outing this week. Why not? Okay, we're just going to a coffee shop. Why not? But it's like those little things are adding up energetically and financially. I remember talking to an economist when I was in school, like when I was working on my associate's degree. So this was like way back. But I remember she said, rather than like big construction projects or, huge infrastructure projects, like, the majority of financial waste happens in the little things. Because, I don't know, I'm not mathing right now. What is it? 20? Yeah, like 20 $5 outings is still $100. So like if you're cutting your budget, or if you're trying to reallocate your energy and your finances, you're probably looking at the bigger stuff, the thing that costs you $100 a month, and thinking, well, but that's a big thing to cut out, though. But maybe you're not looking at the 25 a week that you're spending, or the maybe, let's say you want to put yourself in school because you want to do something else. You want to switch career tracks. So this is a step that you have to take, and it's going to take you 10 hours a week. And you're like, okay, 10 hours a week. What do I carve out to get 10 hours a week freed up for this thing that I want to do? And you're probably looking at, the bigger things rather than the smaller habits that take your time. Maybe you're even thinking, well, I meditate for an hour a day. So that's 7 hours right there. I should cut that out. And then you prioritize that, 1 hour a week outing, that, or is 3 hours more than norm? Like, let's say you meet up with a friend every week for 3 hours. You're looking at things in chunks. I don't know how else to say that. It's like you're looking at things in chunks, and I feel like you're leaning towards the things that are cutting away from your own wellness. I wouldn't say to save face, but you're also very conscious right now of your outer world or your outer appearance and how you're seen by other people. Like, for example, between the 3 hour hangouts with your friend that you do once a week and the 7 hours that you spend every week on meditation, you'd probably be more likely to cut out the meditation. But let's say you need that to feel like yourself. That's your wellness routine. But you're prioritizing keeping the 3 hours that you spend with your friend listening to them talk about the same thing that they've been talking about for months. But you're having a hard time looking at it that way. Because if you cut out the meditation, nobody notices. But if you cut out the outing, someone notices. And you're worried about that. I say this because the Strength is in the reverse and the Seven of Cups is in the challenge position. And the Seven of Cups is about illusion. And Strength in the reverse is about pride. Keeping up appearances. It's being concerned with how you are perceived. I think I just read about this last week, last week for the Geminis, that they were becoming less concerned about how their life is perceived and more concerned with how it feels. And I guess that seems to be your theme this retrograde, is shifting that perspective. Worrying a little less about how you're seen and worrying a little more about how you feel. And budgeting accordingly. The Son of Cups also being in the challenge position, though, it also feels like there's a little bit of guilt associated with it, because maybe there's a part of you that, or maybe this is your motivating factor here, is that you really do want to offer your time and your energy and your resources to the people and the things that you value. And you're having a hard time facing the fact that you are a human being with a limited amount of time in a week and limited energy, limited resources. But saying no feels bad. Saying no feels like something that you feel guilty over. Oh, now I see it. Whether you already know this or not, this process of budgeting your energy, your time, your resources, it is necessary. As in, when things change. Was Uranus going into Gemini? I think Uranus was going into Gemini next year, because I heard something say it's your time. Like it's going to be your time to shine. Some of you are going to be leading things, the new direction. And so this feels like preparation, whether you know that it's preparation or not. That sudden urge to spring clean your life and try doing things differently. Try being a little more conservative with your energy. Like that urge is preparing you for something else, even if you don't see what that something else is yet. I don't like saying this because it feels cold, but you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. Basically, what they're saying is that in the grand scheme of things, you are going to need to be more available to something else. So right now is a time to rest and be choosy about where you give yourself, because you're going to be needed somewhere else later. And it's crucial that you are available and ready. I usually try to stay away from predictive stuff, but I tell you guys whatever they tell me to tell you. So don't feel too guilty about it. You're doing what you're supposed to do, and you'll figure out the reason later. But it's for the greater good. Okay? Moving on to Cancer. Tower in reverse, 5 of Pentacles in the challenge position, Son of Swords in the challenge position. Just heard the words last word, 2 of Pentacles. Nine of Wands in the challenge position. Son of Wands in the challenge position. Four of Wands in reverse. Okay. When I pulled the Four of Wands, I felt this like surge of guilt and shame. Tower in reverse, 5 of Pentacles in the challenge position, along with the Son of Swords, is telling me that something didn't end well. And there's also something lingering. And it's either the fact that you didn't get the last word in and you wished you did. Like there was something that you thought of that you were like, dang, I wish I said that. Or someone said something very cutting to you at the end there that you're not getting over. Like that's the energy that I'm getting, is there's an echo of words, whether it be internal to you or something that was said to you that's just echoing and echoing and echoing in your head. It has something to do with juggling. I usually don't read the Two of Pentacles as like, oh, you're juggling two people or anything like that. But with the amount of guilt and shame that I felt when I pulled the Four of Wands in reverse, feels like you have a lot of guilt and shame associated with how things ended. I also am hearing the word tainted, like it tainted. That's probably why the Nine of Wands is in the challenge position along with the Son of Wands, because the Son of Wands is about passion, passionate movement forward, passionate offerings. And the Nine of Wands is about recovery, hope, persistence, moving forward from this Tower in reverse and the Five of Pentacles energy. Like I see a linear direction here, but it's disrupted with this, the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands in reverse. Like it almost feels like for example, let's say like I have a job and everyone's really nice to me and I really bonded with the people that I work with, and I want to get paid more though. So I started looking and I found something, and I tell the new place, can I start in 3 weeks? And then now I'm at my current job, and it's that first week where I'm sitting there knowing that I'm going to be putting my 2 weeks in. But they don't know that. And I haven't told them that yet. That feeling like there's an overlap somewhere. And for some reason, that's causing you a lot of guilt and shame. And this retrograde seems to be asking you about, man, that goes deep. And they're asking a lot of questions at the same time. One is asking, like, what is that feeling that you get when you do nice things for yourself? Like when you make the choices that are right for you, why is there so much guilt and shame associated with it? Like, why do you feel like you're not allowed? Strange, but that That's one. Why do you think that you're not, why do you feel like you're not allowed? Like, why do you feel like it's easier to take crap from people than it is to dish it? Is another one. Why don't you count yourself? Like, I'm getting, like, let's say you have a family of 5, including you, and for some reason you keep only buying enough ingredients for 4 meals, and then like you get to the bottom of the pot after you're done serving everybody their meals, and you forgot about you and you didn't realize it until it was time to eat. And so you're just kind of scraping like whatever sauce or like loose veggies are left in the stew, and you don't get, everybody else has like, I don't know, chicken breast and like stuff all over it, but for some reason you are just eating the stuff that's on everybody's, and you don't get a chicken breast. Like, that's the image that I'm getting, like someone serving up dinner and then realizing that they forgot to count themselves. And for some reason there's like this chronic guilt or shame associated with the shopping process too. Like you look at the pack of chicken and you see the pack of 4 versus the pack of, I don't know, 6, because they don't really make them in 5, let's say. And then you look at the price difference and you're like, oh, I'll just go without instead of spending more. Like, it's kind of a very like self-deprecating energy where you're so used to feeding everyone else before yourself, and not even leaving enough for yourself, that every time you do something for yourself, it's like you beat yourself up for it. And I'd like to ask you, if you saw someone that you love being treated the way you treat yourself, would you be okay with it? Would you be able to say the things that you say to yourself to someone that you love? Would you be okay with hearing someone say those things to someone that you love? Maybe you're learning finally how to treat yourself like someone that you love. Maybe you're figuring out finally that the people that love you want to see you eat too. And back to the last word, I'm also hearing an echo. Someone saying that if they're not happy for you for choosing yourself, accomplishing something for yourself, changing your life in the way that you need, then they don't love you. If they're not proud of you, then they don't love you. If they can't admire you for being authentic and asserting yourself, then they don't love you. Because when we love things, we want to see them thriving, no matter what it costs. I am sitting in a room full of small creatures that I have poured my blood, sweat, and tears literally into. Each of these enclosures, I don't even want to talk about how much it cost me. And I have ruined so many clothes building these enclosures, because you wind up covered in silicone, you wind up covered in spray foam and all kinds of stuff. But the energy that I put into each and every single one of these little guys, that's love. That is pure love. And you know that because you're the type of person that feeds everyone else before yourself. But what you're forgetting is that you deserve that too. You deserve to receive that from others, and you deserve to receive that from yourself. And not everyone has that yet, nor is it guaranteed that they ever will. receive that kind of love from another person. And that's why learning to fill your own cup is so important. Learning to just walk up to the pot and fill your own plate instead of sitting there looking around hoping that someone notices and fills it for you is so important, because the inability to do that breeds codependency. We will cling to anything if we don't know how to stand on our own. Okay, well, this is already an hour-long video and I'm only 4 signs in. So I am going to cut this here for right now, because speaking of taking care of yourself, I got home from work and I haven't eaten or anything yet and I'm starving. So I'm going to tend to myself, and I will film the rest of the signs a little later on. All right, so if you liked what you saw here today, please feel free to like, share, comment to help me out with the algorithm, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video. And I'll see you in the next one.